How you doing, Ron?
Hey, Ron.
Good, Dave, how are you?
Good.
All right, it's 6:30. Welcome to the Wareham Conservation Commission meeting of Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. We have Ron Bessie, Alyssa Hurd, Jim, I get it, never mind. Oh, wait a minute, Barbara
Smith?
Jim Smith, Barbara Smith, I'll get it there. Mary Taggart, Sandy Slavin, and Mike Mercier, who is just been appointed associate but hasn't been sworn in yet.
I'm here as an observer.
We also have Ron Bessie.
I thought I said Ron Bessie.
Yeah, she said me first.
And
Okay.
Agent Dave Bichette.
Yeah.
So we have a quorum and we can start our meeting.
Okay, we're going to do a notice of public hearing. Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, Division 6, a public hearing will be held on Wednesday, November 18th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. on the request for determination of applicability for Karen Lemons, care of Westgate Associates, 189R Main Street, Wareham, Massachusetts, to reconstruct a deck and install footings located on Assessors Map 3, Lot 1006, 3 Groveland Street, Wareham, Massachusetts.
Thank you. Is there anybody here for this hearing?
I am. Chris Lindstrom.
Okay, Chris. Okay, Mr. Bichette will read to the project.
Okay, the project site is at 3 Groveland Street in Onset, and the project involves the reconstruction of a deck in the buffer zone to a coastal dune, and also within a flood zone. The 16 by 44-foot deck is to be removed and then reconstructed in the same footprint. And this is approximately 8 feet from the coastal dune beach area and within flood zone VE elevation 20. There is a low retaining wall that separates the yard from the coastal dune. The new deck, again, would be in the same footprint, but would require the installation of 7 new 12-inch sonotube footings. All work is to be done by hand, and silt fence would be installed between the work and the resource area. All materials from the old deck would be removed from the site and disposed of in accordance with all applicable laws. So I would recommend the approval of the project with a negative determination number 2, with the silt fence to be required.
Thank you. Chris, anything to add?
No, that's perfect.
Okay, questions from the board. We'll start with Ron,
No, I don't have any questions.
Elissa,
No, I don't have any.
Jim,
Nothing.
Mary,
No question.
Mike.
Yeah.
I have a question. In letter D, you said you have going to put a temporary dumpster to take the stuff. Now, the area that's right now, not everything is on a footing, is it?
The deck that's there now does not, it does have some concrete like blocks that the posts are sitting on, but not very good.
And some of them are even sitting, are just on the soil, not even on blocks. So what we're doing is removing cinder blocks and putting in 12-inch sonic tubes, right?
Solid tubes.
Yeah. Those sonotubes are cardboard. They go into a 4-foot hole in the ground, and then we pour concrete into them, making for a solid connection between the deck and the ground.
Okay. Is there anybody here that would like to speak for or against this project? Hearing none. I need a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close the hearing.
Second.
And I have a second by Jim. All in favor, Ron,
Yes.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Sandy. Yes, the hearing is closed.
Sandy, did you forget me?
I didn't see you.
Oh,
Okay, Carol, I didn't see you. I will add you to my list.
yes, I'm here. And I vote yes.
I move that we accept this project, the RDA, and with it's a -2, and with silt fences being placed during construction.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second by Jim. All in favor. Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Sandy. Yes. So I've approved it, and Chris, please see Mr. Bishop before you start any work on the project.
Okay,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Bye, Dave.
Yep, take it easy.
Notice of
Talk to you
public
soon.
hearing. Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, Division 6, a public hearing will be held on Wednesday, November 18th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. on the notice of intent for Scott and Laura Christofouli, care of J.C. Engineering, Inc., 2854 Cranberry Highway, East Wareham, Massachusetts, 02538, to construct a pier, ramp, and float located on map 21, lot 1005, 9 Lydia Islands Road, Wareham, Mass.
Thank you. Is there anybody here for this project?
We had gotten a request to continue that hearing. So I would say we would continue that to the next meeting, which is December 2nd.
Okay. Is there anybody online that wanted to speak for or against this project? I'm hearing none. So when's the next meeting? 12 what?
2.
2.
So the request is have a continuation until December 2nd. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I think I heard Jim first. So we're continuing until the 2nd. I'll roll call Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Sandy. Yes, this hearing is continued until the 2nd of December.
So we have a notice of public hearing pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, Division 6. A public hearing will be held on Wednesday, November 18th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. on the notice of intent for Kevin Nickerson, care of J.C. Engineering, Inc., 2854 Cranberry Highway, East Wareham, Massachusetts, 02538, to raise an existing dwelling and construct a new dwelling located on Assessor's Map 39, Lot T5, 3 Oak Hill Road, Wareham, Massachusetts.
Is there anybody here for this particular project?
Good evening, JC Engineering. It's Bradley Bertolo.
So, just so the public knows, for a reason unknown to me, zoning changed their meeting to be 6:30 tonight, and the only hearing they have is 3 Oak Hill Road. So, Brad, thank you for stepping up and joining us.
So what's the story, Brad? Is that hearing going on right now with the zoning board or what?
It is. I have no problem tabling this until the very end to see if that meeting can progress. They're just starting it right now.
Yeah, we had talked about that, Sandy. I think that makes
Yep.
sense to just table it.
So I'd like to take a motion to table this hearing until later.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
And I have a second. All in favor? Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Sandy, yes. And I see that Kwame has joined us, and Kwame and Mike, they have been appointed as associate members, but haven't been able to be sworn in until tomorrow. But thank you, the two of you, for stepping up and joining us. Next one, please.
We have a notice of public hearing. Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaw, Division 6. A public hearing will be held on Wednesday, November 18th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. on the notice of intent for Lynn Bell, care of Outback Engineering, Inc., 165 East Grove Street, Middleborough, Mass. 02346, to upgrade a septic system located on Assessor's Map 17, Lot 1034, 50 Great Neck Road, Wareham, Massachusetts.
Thank you. Is there anybody here for this project?
Yes, I am Jenna Hudson.
Jason Youngquist from Outback Engineering.
Thank you, Mr. Bichette. Your turn.
So yes, the project site is at 50 Great Neck Road, and the project involves upgrading a septic system in the buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland. An existing system is to be replaced with a new Title V nitrogen-reducing septic system. The new leach field is approximately 66 feet from the edge of the wetland. I did have a question about whether or not that leach field could be located further from the wetlands edge, and also a question as to whether or not the Board of Health has reviewed this project at this point. Also, silt fence is proposed for erosion control. I would recommend both hay bales and silt fence to be used for the project. The new septic tank is proposed to be outside the buffer zone to the wetland. I did not get any DEP file number for this project as of this time, so I would have to recommend a continuance of the hearing for the DEP file number and any other questions that the commission has.
Thank you. Jenna, Jason, which one wants to take the, tell us about the project, if you want to add anything and answer Mr. Bichette's questions?
Well, this is Jason Youngquist from Outback Engineering. So one of the issues we had was the 100-foot buffer coming from the wetlands there, and we can't really push it out of the buffer zone. Can't go up by where the septic tank is because that gets too close to the foundation and the property lines. And that's an old stone foundation with a dirt floor in the basement. And we don't want to put that septic anywhere near that foundation. To go outside the 100-foot buffer up there, we'd be putting it right next to that stone foundation. The other option is way out into the back of the property. Now, to go back out there, we'd have to be cutting down trees, clearing a big area in the back of the natural vegetation, and then we'd have to pump the septic system there. So it seemed like the most logical area was to go in the existing lawn area with the least amount of disturbance and kind of put the septic system back where the existing one already is.
So it looks like the tree line on the plan is right here. So you're saying, how about if it was to go somewhere in here, it would be more than 66 feet away? Was this area considered?
It would be more than 66 feet. We'd still be in the 100-foot buffer going there because we have to maintain the setback to the property line. And we'd be pumping the septic to get there. Just because of the extra distance to go.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, those were my questions. And lastly, has this gone in front of the Board of Health yet?
It was submitted to the Board of Health, yes, and they didn't have any issues with it.
So it got approved by them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I don't have any further questions, Madam Chair.
Jason, did you want to add anything else?
Yes, we had silt fence shown, but you mentioned having to do hay bales instead of silt fence, or hay bales with silt fence. Is straw wattles or some sort of straw wattles, is that an option instead of the hay bales?
I think straw bales would be fine, but the straw wattles we typically don't really like to see because honestly, they don't really provide that much protection as far as what we've seen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Questions from the board? Carol,
No.
Ron,
No questions.
Alyssa?
I just have one question. When I was there, I'm wondering, there were a couple of trees that had pink ribbons on them. Are these trees being taken down?
No, the tree that had the ribbon on it was one of them had, the benchmark was one of them.
Okay,
And then we were putting this in the lawn area, so we wouldn't be cutting down any trees.
okay, great, thanks.
Elisa, just so you know, your audio seems to be a little weak compared to when we started the meeting.
Okay, let me just try.
Nope.
Is
There
that
you go.
better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Thanks.
Questions, Jim? Mary? Mike? Kwame?
No, ma'am.
I see you changed your title on your screen. I don't have any questions. Is there anybody on the line that wants to speak for or against this project? I'm hearing and seeing none.
So I move that we accept this project and,
We need to close a hearing.
Well, no, at this point, Sandy, we still have to continue because we
Oh,
don't
that's
have a
right, too. We
DEP number.
continue because we don't have DEP.
Right.
So I need a motion to continue until September 2nd, December 2nd.
So I have a question on, will we have to come back to another meeting if DEP just issues the file number or will it be all set?
We tend to ask you to come back in case there's any issues from DEP.
Okay.
And excuse me, Alan ate my fudgicle.
Hmm.
So I'm absolutely pissed. And I lost track of what I was doing. So we have sorry, Alan, we have a motion I need a motion to continue the hearing until.
Motion to continue.
Thank you. I have a second. All in favor? Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Alyssa,
yes.
Jim,
Yep.
Mary.
Yes.
Sandy, yes, we're continued until December 2nd. I don't bother you during your meetings. Can you go away?
No.
All right, Brad, anybody come back yet?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I don't think we have anybody back for the Nickerson hearing. So let's continue on with the Borrego Solar Systems at 50 Tyhonet Road.
Hi, everyone. Stacy Minahan, Fields and
Hi,
Thomas.
Stacy.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Stacy.
All right,
On as well.
and who else is on?
Zach
Stacy?
Barton.
Zach,
Zach Borrego is on as well.
okay. Okay, Dave, your turn.
I think tonight we're just looking to maybe just get a quick update on where things stand with these two remaining projects. I know there's been a couple minor changes to plans and maybe some comments from the town engineer. And so maybe just give us an update and we can go from there.
Sure. So I'll start with the easy one, 140 Tohonet. There's really no update to speak of. We are advancing revisions to those site plans and we'll submit them to the Conservation Commission. We've talked about what those will entail before, increasing the setback from Tohonet Road, and of course, using the established wetland lines based on the site walk with Dave. So I think that hearing we're looking to continue. I'm certainly happy to discuss any questions the commission has about it. The other site, the northerly of the two, 150 Tohonet, we've submitted revised materials. They weren't necessarily responding to peer review comments because we hadn't received comments, but they were based on what we received at the 27 Charge Pond site. So we tried to kind of guess what comments and proactively address what we could. So we submitted revised plans, stormwater, and an accompanying letter. We did receive comments from the peer reviewer, Charlie, on those revised materials. There were just a few things that he had commented on that we are revising now. So we will be sending a new updated set to the commission. But the main changes that I wanted to note tonight were that the revised plans that you have do reflect a 175-foot setback from Tohonet Road. So whereas the original plans, and actually, would it be okay if I shared my screen?
Yes,
Sure,
please.
Sure, let me set that up, hold on.
I'll just point to some things as I'm talking.
This was
Okay.
to accommodate the visuals that would be coming from the homes that are along the river of the pond, right?
Correct.
And we're
Okay, so
talking
you're all
one,
set, Stacy.
we're
Okay.
talking 140.
Well, we're talking 140 and 150.
Okay.
We did it for both. All right. So do you folks see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, hold on. All right. Now you see it?
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is 150, the northerly of the two sites. So you can see the setback from Tohonet Road has been increased. Tohonet Road runs along here. This is the Cranberry Bog system to the north, and then Tohonet Pond to the west. And there are several wetlands kind of scattered throughout the site. So the revised materials we submitted reflect that setback. There's been about a 13-acre reduction in clearing from the originally submitted plans. And then the other update that I wanted to mention was for the administrative record, we actually submitted a request for a waiver for work within the 50-foot no alteration zone, and that's associated with this northeasterly road here. One thing I want to note, in case you notice it, there is an encroachment into the 50-foot no alteration zone here, but that was erroneous, and we'll be rectifying that in the next submission. There will be no encroachment elsewhere on the site. So for this northeasterly access road, I just want to flip over to the waiver that we requested. So you're still seeing my screen, right? You're seeing now some green text. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the same image that we were just looking at. This is that northeasterly access road. And zooming in, so here's Tohonet Road. This is the active Cranberry Bog across the site from Tohonet Road. And that projects a 50-foot and a 100-foot setback. So you can see the access road that we're proposing here with gravel has a slight portion of the apron where it connects to Tohonet Road that is within the 50-foot no alteration zone, which is shown here in red. And so we're requesting a waiver to allow that work. There will be no tree clearing needed to accommodate this road apron. It's kind of right along the shoulder of Tohonet Road. And our waiver request, outlined how we felt it comported with the bylaw in terms of a project that's overall beneficial to the environment and access to an upland as well. So I'm happy to talk through more details of that, but I did want to call your attention to that because that was the additional update beyond just the revised plans to address town and peer review comments. I think at that point, I'll pause and see if there's any questions.
There was, which was it? 140 or 150 that had the issue of the cutting trees within 50 feet of another property line. I know it's not zoning, but I know it's not conservation.
Nope, that's fine. That is another change that you'll see. So 150, when we submitted the plans, one of the comments we received back from the peer reviewer, and it's not how we interpret what is said in the zoning bylaw, but we understand after meeting with the planning board that it is how they are interpreting it or have asked us to proceed. So along this property line here, as you can see, we had shown no work except clearing. We weren't going to be grubbing, just stumping up to the property line. We're going to be changing that. So there will be a 50-foot offset with no disturbance. So there'll be even a little less clearing in the next iteration that the commission and the planning board see. That was along this easterly edge.
There won't be an issue. Never mind. My question was nothing to do with conservation, so I withdraw it.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to be looking at 140 and 150. Would it be good to continue it until the 2nd?
Yes, I think.
Or do you want longer?
I think the 2nd makes sense, certainly for 150, because we're meeting with the planning board on Monday and hope to make good progress with them on 150. 140 will be continued again. So, but by December 2nd, hopefully we'll have revised materials too. So it makes sense for us probably to talk about it.
So I will ask if there's any questions from the board. Carol?
No.
Ron?
No.
Melissa?
No.
Jim,
No.
Mary,
No.
I have none. Mike,
Not this time.
Kwame,
None.
is there anybody on the line that would like to have any questions for these two projects? I'm hearing none. I can take these together and ask for a continuation for both 150 and 140 Tyhonet Road until December 2nd.
Motion to continue.
Second.
I have a second and I have a motion and a second. All in favor. Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Sandy. Yes, we're continued until 12/2.
Okay, thank you all for
Okay,
your time.
thank you.
Okay, bye.
The next hearing is, continued hearing is Tune Road LLC. Is there anybody here for this project?
Is that the 290 Glen Charlie Road?
Yeah, Maple Park.
Bill Madden from GAF.
Bill, your audio is a little weak there.
Now, we did have a site visit there earlier this week. Mr. Madden joined us and we walked the site. We talked about where what vegetation would be cleared, what we would do for the sheet metal and the chain link fence and the 4-foot widening of the road in order to accommodate it, removing all the garbage, trash, wheels, and whatever stuff that's in there. And I thought it was a very good meeting, and thank you for everybody for those that attended it. Thank you. I think we needed that understanding of the site. So, okay, Mr. Bichette.
Yeah, so I'll just sort of briefly reiterate that the project involves replacing existing flumes, which would involve work within the buffer zone to wetlands in the riverfront area. And that would involve driving sheet piles along each side of the existing road while at the same time removing old materials, which include tires and various other things that were used initially to create that, if you want to call it, roadway structure. So we had continued the meeting to be able to review the plans a little bit more in detail because we had just received them sort of the day of the last meeting. Some members wanted to go out there and review the site, which has occurred. And so given where we are now, we did just get another set of revised plans today, but the changes on those plans were relatively minor changes, which involve just changes to notes and whatnot. And Bill could maybe just add to what that was. But overall, I think we're at a stage now where we have everything in place for the commission to approve the project. I did write a set of draft conditions for the project, which I emailed out to the members. So if any members have any questions about either the project or the conditions or want to potentially change or add to the conditions, certainly we can discuss that after Bill goes over the nature of the latest plan revisions. And let me just take a moment to pull up the plan so we can look at it here.
Yeah, I think we just need to see 4 of 6. The others never really changed, and it's only 4 or 6 that is going to give us the disturbances.
Okay.
Well, they're bringing them up. Bill, Mr. Madden, Bill, anything to say? Anything to add?
Well, when we were on site the other day, is my audio all right now?
Yeah.
Okay. When we were on site the other day, on Tuesday, we talked briefly about the cofferdam that we're proposing. And I asked if there were any if we wanted to use an alternative method there of a temporary sheet pile to be driven in lieu of placing those super sacks as we detailed on the plan. So what we did is we just added a note that should the commission be in agreement of it, that we might want to use temporary sheet piles in lieu of that. One of the contractors that we've been discussing the project with asked us that. So I just thought we might include it on the plan as an alternative or as an option. So that note has been changed. One of the other things that it wasn't changed on the plan, but the previous one that I sent to you, when I looked at it, it omitted the chain link fence. I think just the data layer on the CAD drawing, for some reason or another, just was missed. So we added that back in. There was always part of the project, but it was absent from the November 4th submission. We also added a little bit more clarification, just where there's a note down in the bottom center of the sheet where it says areas disturbed by debris removal on slopes to be repaired with loam and seed. What I just wanted to clarify there is that there were some areas that we looked at that we're aware of that are within the footprint of our work that, God only knows how much we have to remove out of there. But I just wanted to be clear that we're going to restore that slope in its in a state consistent to what it is with regard to the slope, not with regard to the material. So we added a note that basically cleaned that up, and that was really it. We added a couple of notes relative to the contractor providing us the shop drawings for the steel sheet piling installation for our review, and pretty much that was it. It wasn't really anything technical of nature that what we added, just some simplifications in things contractors brought to our attention. So that was pretty much it.
Okay. So I'll ask around if there's any questions on the projects, and at the same time, let me know if you had any comments on the the draft order of conditions that was sent out today. Carol?
No questions and no questions.
Ron?
No questions, and I think the draft that was sent out was pretty detailed, so no questions on that either.
Alyssa?
I had a question. It seemed to me that when we were there, you liked the idea of the oversized bags to put down as opposed to the sheet the rods going in, because you said the rods were more difficult to remove and sometimes you couldn't get them out and so on and so forth. So which is your preference in this position?
Actually, the preference is really a cost-related item in that, we'd like to select the alternative that offers the client the best value for the money. I think they both do the same job. The sandbags are fine. I don't have a problem with it, but one of the contractors brought it up. So in lieu of having to come back with a request for an amendment or something like that, I thought that I might include it on the drawings. I suspect that if you were interested in letting us have that latitude on the job, perhaps a condition could be written that states something along the line that we provide Dave with the final means and methods for the cofferdam before it goes in, and it would either be the bags or the silt sacks, super sacks, or the piles. It really depends on the contractor we get, because one of the contractors is a sheet pile contractor, prefers to do it that way. The other contractors do all of it. So, there's just a mix and a match of things. So that was the little dilemma that I was faced with on that.
So
when we did the onset boat ramp, we used temporary sheet piles around that boat ramp, and that particular contractor wasn't the best in the world as far as driving the sheets in a nice, straight, linear manner. Caused a little bit of heartburn on the project. But at the end of the day, everything worked out fine. We were able to pull it all out, and there were no issues. So, it's really a method of preference. Method of preference for the selected contractor.
So I had one other question. Thank you, Bill, on that. The question with the disturbed areas with the debris. I mean, you really don't know how many rows of old tires you're going to be. And I mean, the idea that just loam and seed is going to rebuild that area, it seems to me that that area could take a little bit more than just loam and seed. I don't know if it means planting or what, but it was pretty deep how far those lovely tires stacked up went.
Yeah, and what I thought we wanted to do there is at least reflect that the slope restoration, that what we propose for the project is similar in nature to what would propose in this area, meaning that their core log would be placed, and then the layers of whatever backfill material, they would be compacted in layers like of 8 inches or so, if it is that deep. And then we're able to build it up the slope and protect the seed bed with that Curl X3 blanket that's designed for that very steep slope. So we think it's fine to do that. I mean, if we're in that roadway width behind the sheep, it's only the area that's going to be in front of the sheep piles that's a little tricky. The stuff behind it is pretty straightforward.
Okay, thank you.
I think also for Alyssa's, I think concern is if so much material has to be pulled out of there because it's not suitable, then Alyssa, I think they maybe have to put some fill back in to sort of build it back up. And I'm okay with that. They may have to do something like that to get the grade back if they have to really take out that much material,
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. I just wanted to be clear there because that was a little difficult area.
Thanks.
I think we lost our chairperson for a
Oh,
moment.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
How is that pasta?
Okay. So, Jim, any
No, I have no questions.
Mary?
What?
Any questions or comments?
No question at this time.
Mike?
I was able to see everything fine yesterday, and I have no comments otherwise. Thank you.
Kwame?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay. Needless to say, I do. If I took a look at the special order of conditions, I appreciate you doing it ahead of time, as we said we would do at the last meeting. So there are just a couple comments on it. So it could be available once we sign off on everything tomorrow. Could be available as early as maybe Monday for Mr. Madden and company. Now, who is our herring officer?
That's somebody that's part of Gary Buckminster's group. And so I don't know if he is technically the acting herring officer, or if he has somebody that he's appointed for that. So whoever that is, that's who they would have to notify. And if you want, I can pull these conditions up on the screen. So in case.
Sure, that'd be
people
great.
wanna
Oh, yeah, because I'm looking at number 17. So I was wondering if we could put Wareham herring officer in parentheses, natural resources, or whatever that group is called. Because Bill, do you know who the Wareham herring officer is?
I always deal with Gary Buckminster with anything that we have to deal with there, but I don't know who the precise individual is, no.
Okay, so you're comfortable with just leaving the word Wareham herring officer in the order of conditions?
You could just say natural resource officer. I mean,
Yeah.
that might be all encompassing.
Yeah, I just put that because, that technically is the proper person. That might be Gary, it might be somebody within his group, but, we could change it to whatever way the commission feels comfortable with.
Yeah, I would like to see add / natural resources department or something like that. So there's no question that if somebody else reads this, that the Wareham herring officer is part of natural resources.
Okay.
In number 19, do we have a particular name for the Wareham Water Department as opposed to just generically sending a letter to the department?
I'm in direct contact with Andy Reid and Andy Cunningham.
So you're good with leaving that as
I am.
generic? Okay.
Yes.
And number 21, we just talked about the disturbed side slopes. Do we want to put anything here to say build up, add fill as needed? And number 21?
I don't know if it's absolutely necessary to do that. If you're more comfortable by adding that, we have no objection.
Number 23, when we're talking about the coffer dam, do we want to be able to put in there that you could have either the sheet piling or whatever those bags are called?
The drawing calls it out.
But I want it in the conditions.
I think what
Okay.
I'll do in that, since we've discussed it, what I'll do is state that the cofferdam could be either or as approved by the Conservation Commission.
But we don't know what to approve.
Well, what it would be is they would have to send us the detail before they put it in, so that way you could be conscious of what it is and make sure you're okay with it.
But we're not going to hold up, if we approve this tonight, we're not going to hold up approval.
No, we wouldn't hold up approval, but it would just give the commission an opportunity to be sure of the detail, because if they came in with some wacky thing that we didn't want, then yes, we would hold up the project until they did something we wanted.
Okay. And if you take a look at number 26, 25 is what we were saying, we'll need a notice of intent for that illegal filling for the pond. And number 26 says we'll talk about the clearing on the both sides of the road. But it says restoration action should be submitted as part of the NOI required in condition number 23. 23 is a coffer dam. I think you mean conditions number 25.
Yes, that's a typo. Yep, I'll fix that.
That was all I found. Well done. Well done. So is there anybody online that would like to speak for or against this project?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm gonna,
Jamie, right?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm terribly sorry I've had internet problems, so I'm now on a laptop. I don't know if you can see me, but I can see you. And I missed the very beginning. My memory from last time was that you were going to issue a separate letter with respect to conditions unrelated to this notice of intent, and to give 60 days to allow for submission of a notice of intent or a plan for the work.
What we did say is that we would give you 3 months to give us a separate notice of intent for the 2 violations we found. Nothing to do with this order of conditions, just that it's noted in it that you have 3 months to address a new notice of intent for those 2 items.
What am I misunderstanding then? What is condition number 26?
It's the clearing of the side of the road.
As part of the project.
No, nothing to do with the project that's in front of us. There's a violation with filling it around the pond, and there's a violation with clearing back from the road.
That's what I understand, but I don't understand that.
It just says
why is
that
it showing up as a condition in this order of conditions?
It's not limiting the project. It's just saying that we want you in 3 months to address these 2 issues. It's not going to restrict the order of conditions for the project in front of us.
Sandy,
I think the question.
23 and 25 mixed up. So I
What?
think you just have to tell that we're putting the two new projects, 24 and 25. 23 is not involved in those.
No,
Yeah, and I think that was the mistake.
no, I think she was, sorry. What was your question? I thought 25 and 26, being the 2 violations, are not part of this order of conditions, other than it's being stated, you've got 3 months to give us a notice of intent.
I think what Jamie is asking is that at the last meeting, there was discussion of addressing this separately through a letter versus not having conditions referencing the other issues. And so that's really a choice of the commission, even though it was discussed that way. It's up to the commission as to whether you want to reference those other two issues in this order of conditions or do it as a separate letter. That's up to the commission, and I think that's what Jamie is asking about.
That's exactly right. Thank you.
So
And I'm
the que-
raising it because sorry, ma'am?
Go on. You're raising it.
I'm raising it because, yes,
Your
because
your-
respectfully, I think,
Jamie, your audio's cutting in and out.
I may have to have Bill speak for me. I don't want to cause trouble. My concern is having them mixing a condition of an unrelated project and doing it in a separate letter is vastly cleaner. I am very concerned about having unrelated matters to say somebody's going to submit an order of conditions within 3 months, turn out to be a violation of this notice of intent and this order of conditions. They're supposed to be separate things.
Right. So your request is you would like to see number 25 and number 26 removed from these order of conditions.
And put into a separate letter. There's nothing wrong with them, just a request that they be in a separate letter instead of a condition on this notice of intent. Or
That's
this
what I'm
order.
saying.
I would, Sandy, just suggest that I would prefer that they be in this order. That way, if the applicant doesn't follow through, then we're not going to issue a certificate of compliance for this project because you didn't finish the conditions that are in this project. If we
Okay.
just do it in the form of a letter, then we don't have as much teeth to force the issue.
All right. I'm going to ask the members, say, yes, we keep 25 and 26 in the order of conditions, or no, we remove them. So Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Sandy, yes. So they will stay as the order of conditions as a method of tracking the need of that NOI. Thank you. I think that's it. And any other comments on the project? Anybody else want online to speak for it? Okay,
I move we close the hearing.
I thank you, Kara. I have a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
I have a second. I think I heard Jim. All in favor? Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Sandy. Yes, the hearing is closed.
I move that we approve this project subject to the conditions that have been written down 1 through 26 by Dave.
Yep.
And is this a -3? Is it?
Nope, it's just a standard order of conditions.
Standard order. Okay, standard order of conditions?
Second.
Yes. And I heard a second. All in favor? Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Sandy. Yes. We're done. It's been approved. We need to sign the order of conditions. We'll talk about signing any other documents we need to do, but this be done. All right?
Very good. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you folks all taking the time to come out there this week and look at it and get a good grasp on what we're up against. So it's an interesting project, and I look forward to working with you guys throughout it.
Watch the standard of conditions, because it does ask you to notify a bunch of group of people before you start the work, okay?
No worries with that at all.
Okay, thank you.
Very
Thanks,
good.
Bill.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Is there
Please allow me
anybody?
to thank, I just wanted to, before I sign off, thank you for your frankly extremely professional conduct of the whole hearing process. I'm not happy about the conditions being included, but that's your choice. I want to thank you because it was extremely professionally done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Be safe. Is there anybody here for the Nickerson property at 3 Oak Hill, other than Brad?
Good evening.
Do we want to, is there enough people here to untable it, Brad?
The meeting is still taking place. I believe there's only one abutter or two abutters listening on the Zoom call. And it seems like the ZBA hearing is going to be continued anyways. So I'm more than happy to move forward at this time, or I can continue to wait to finish any administrative business you may have.
Why don't we go on to our enforcement orders and see where we stand? Because I know some of the abutters want to speak to us about this project.
Okay.
Okay, enforcement orders, please.
So the first one was the one at 16 Job's Island Road for Boone Ferry. He was the gentleman who was online at the last meeting. I don't know if he's here tonight or not.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So,
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
so we had talked about potentially meeting at the site, and obviously that didn't quite come together before tonight's meeting. Mr. Ferry did email me and offered he could meet potentially this coming Monday or Tuesday. So Boone, I don't know if you have one of those days that is preferable.
Tuesday would probably be better for me, but either one I can make work.
All right, why don't we shoot for the Tuesday then? And we
At
could
what
pick
time?
what time would be good for most commission members?
Pick a time. We're never going to get a consensus.
How about if we say like 10:30?
Okay,
Perfect for me.
Do you want us to meet in town hall and we're caravan down to the site?
Sure, that'd probably be easier. Give it a look and see what's what. But so yeah, we'll see what happens with that one.
All right. Take a motion to untable the Nickerson.
so
Motion
moved.
to untable.
I have a motion. I guess I heard a second. All in favor? Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Sandy, untabled. Okay. Is there anybody here other than Brad for this hearing?
Good evening.
Hi, Brad.
Good evening. Okay, Mr. Bichette, your turn.
Okay, let me just. So the project site is at 3 Oak Hill Road, and the project involves the demolition of an existing dwelling and the reconstruction of a new dwelling in the buffer zone to a coastal bank. The existing dwelling is to be removed, and a new 32 by 36 foot dwelling is proposed, approximately 8 feet from the coastal bank. A proposed deck to be reconstructed in the same general location as the existing deck would be basically right up to the coastal bank line. The proposed dwelling is larger than the existing and does expand the footprint within the 30-foot no activity zone. So I would recommend that the footprint should be reduced so that there's no new expansion within the 30-foot no activity zone.
Nickerson. This project involves the raising of a detached garage and existing dwelling. The total square footage of roofed portions of the property, as well as some small concrete pad that's under the existing deck, that impervious area that's being removed is about the same as the proposed footprint of the house. there is some work within the existing 30-foot. And if I get permission to screen share, I could zoom in.
All right, hold
on
on.
this hearing.
I'll
That's
back out of mine, Brad, so you can get on there. Hold on. Okay.
I'm just logging in right now.
Yeah.
The zoning board of appeals just ended, by the way, and it's got continued.
I wonder why it had to go, why did it go in front of zoning?
They are requesting an increase in floor area ratio above and beyond what's allowed now on small lots. Has nothing to do
okay.
with footprint zoning setbacks. It's just massive structure. Just 1 second, please.
Well, there goes another house with a 2 stories that will block the view of the people on the other side of the road. But that's not conservation, just to comment on Oak Street, Oak Hill.
All right, so I've got a couple pictures I can go through. Again, this property is right up against the coastal bank, pre-existing coastal bank. It's not a sediment source for the beach, but would be utilized for storm prevention. So as you can see this is on the north side of the dwelling. It's where the expansion of the footprint would take place within the 30-foot. It's the side of the house. Here is existing. The proposed is bumping out to about the edge of the deck. And I'm just going to scroll towards the water just to give the commission an idea of what's here today. This is, again, further back, closer to the water. Concrete pad onto the ground, and this is underneath the deck. This is, again, below the existing deck and in an area where it's being expanded. This is underneath the deck. This is where concrete slab would be removed. Some of that retaining wall would be removed and reconstructed on the far end out of the house. As you can see, the top of the coastal bank is this this area here. It's a fully developed coastal bank, no existing native vegetation. It's grass and terraced with retaining walls. This is looking back up towards the street. Again, the proposed house is coming out to about the edge of the existing deck and over top the existing concrete slab. Oh. Again, coastal bank. That's the abutting house to the south. That's at number 5 Oak Hill. Existing retaining wall along the beach. Again, you can see that right now the coastal bank is fully developed, and the land that's between the two dwellings is pretty much all grass. As you can see, the topo runs at an angle from the locust property into the abutting property. It's owned by Jack Nolan. He contacted me with concerns about current runoff that leaves Mr. Nicholson's property and goes towards his house. He thinks it may be causing an issue at the moment. So we worked with him to revise the site plan and add a small berm to try to, keep the water that runs on this existing grassed area kind of, not into his property, but, down, towards the retaining wall. And also we're proposing to add some dry wells the gable of the house is street and towards the water. So that means that the gutters run along the sides of the house. So roof runoff is shedded towards the north and towards the south. So half of the roof is going to be captured by roof dry wells to help handle that runoff. Again, I'll pop up the site plan if I can. And the same plan that Dave had presented. So looking at the expansion, obviously this expansion is taking place in this area over previously developed structure and or just concrete slab and deck here, stairway here. This right here is your 30-foot buffer zone. Everything outside of it is basically permittable through the town, through your bylaw. We are asking for this expansion within the 30-foot. The total footprint within the 30-foot is about 80 square feet. So it's a minor increase, but again, it's over area that's not impacting the existing coastal bank. Actually, utilize this area, which is currently grass and has some runoff potential towards the water, is now going to be considered impervious structure. And that impervious area is part of the roof that's going to be captured by dry wells. Again, this area out in the front of it, outside the 30-foot, it's intended just to basically square up this house. And looking at it as a whole, there's about the same amount of impervious area on this property proposed as it is existing. The deck itself that's proposed is in the same footprint of the existing deck. It is slightly pulling away from the water by roughly about 1.5 feet. The gray shadow here is existing deck, extends out to this point. Proposed deck is going to be about 1.5 feet back. The house is rotated slightly so that this north side of the house is further away from the water than the existing house, but we maintained the same setback on the southern side of the house. As you can tell, same 29.1 feet off the the coastal bank, off of the coastal bank, existing and proposed. So we thought this was a superior design because it includes some additional assurances for capturing some runoff towards the coastal bank. Again, it's just a grass coastal bank, manicured lawn or landscaped lawn, nothing native there. So that bank will do as much as it can do in a storm prevention. And there's no change to that bank under the proposed conditions. So if anyone has any questions on that, I could try to answer them.
Questions, Carol?
No questions.
Ron?
No, you asked it. I was just going to ask about why it was in front of zoning, but that already got answered.
Alyssa?
I guess I sort of would like to hear a little bit more, if we could, from Dave as to, I mean, I know that this is it's in the zone. Our bylaws state that we shouldn't be building there. I don't know. If it's only going to give him 8 by 10, is that going to make such a difference in his house that they want to do this? I don't know. Just sort of comment.
Well, I think, generally we should be looking to comply with the bylaw because part of the intent is to not allow expansions into these areas because, it does provide protection in storms. and it's just eating up more and more space. And so one might say, oh, I'm only taking up this many square feet. Then someone else could say, well, I just want this many square feet. And it just sort of can creep and creep and creep, which is, again, part of the intent of putting that in place in the first place, was to eliminate this creeping effect in and around wetland resource areas. So, I do understand Brad is saying that some square footage is being removed and overall it's somewhat of a reduction, but some of the building that's being removed just happens to be outside the 30 foot. So it doesn't really, have that much impact in terms of our bylaw. So my viewpoint is that this is going to be a much larger structure, even though the footprint might not look all that much different than the existing house. When you see this go in, it's going to be a lot different than that existing house in terms of the area that it encompasses.
Jim,
Nothing.
Mary, Mike,
My only concern would have been the runoff, but he already addressed it. Thank you.
Kwame,
No questions, thanks.
talk to me about that front deck. Doesn't the deck today exist the whole width of the house?
No, there's I believe it's an enclosed porch around in this area here. And this is a small stoop that accesses the structure.
No, by the water,
He's talking on the water side, Brad.
on the water side. Because if I take a look at it, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it goes the whole length of the house, so I'm not sure what this existing deck versus the proposed deck is.
1 second, please. So the existing deck is elevated as it would be under the proposed plan. The this corner is being held and maintained. The depth of the deck is that matches pre and post. So this corner of the house is approximately the same as what's shown on the site plan. What's proposed is to expand this side of the house out to the deck. It's hard to tell at this angle. Might have a better picture.
Terrace.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, can you put the picture up? I lost it.
So, yes, this deck is just being reconstructed on pretty much the same footprint. Again,
Yeah, but okay.
It is looking at a proposed second-story house, which, as Dave described, it's going to look different, and that's agreeable. But again, I don't think the mass and height of the structure is not really under the purview of the commission. It's
Not. No.
the work on the ground, and I completely understand that the work is within 30 foot, but there is obviously a small section. Let me just bring that screen back up.
Dave, can you bring up a screen so I can have you? I don't know why it knocked off.
You're not able to see the plan on the screen right now?
No.
Can you see it at this point?
No.
Is everybody else seeing the plan?
I'm seeing, here's a question. I can see
the plan.
I can see the existing deck on the water side, but I see a proposed deck.
The proposed deck is in the purple, Sandy.
Yeah.
I'm
kind of highlighting the outside of the proposed deck with the cursor. And that extends all the way down to the same location and back.
Oh, so it really is over. What's going to change is going to have a set of stairs coming off of the proposed deck.
Yeah, that
doesn't exist today.
No, that's not today, because There's no
No.
access. The access is beside the deck, or beside the house to the deck.
Yeah, so basically they're expanding the house into where the current stairs are. So therefore they have to rebuild the stairs in the new location. That whole side is expanding, so it would eat up that space where the current stairs are. Elisa, are you able to see the plan or
Now I
no?
can. Yes, now.
Okay, okay,
Thank you.
yep.
So basically, a majority of the expansion in the footprint is this small
Is
little
that-
area here.
Well, the stairs, those existing stairs, are they over concrete on the side?
Not the stairs. Not the stairs are not over concrete.
Okay,
The concrete pad starts about right in this area here.
We're looking from the concrete pad up to the 30 coastal 30 foot. That's the expansion into the 30-foot no work zone.
Yes.
Correct. Yep.
Everything else has been disturbed or existing in concrete, right?
Yes. And again, yeah, this buffer zone also is, I consider it disturbed. It's not native. It's just grassed and manicured property adjacent to the existing house.
And you've also got some dry well structures being placed in there, or a dry well structure, which is currently nothing there.
Well, other than grass, but
Right.
yes.
But I'm saying there's no structure there at this point in time.
Yeah, again, that'd be
See-
below ground, so it'd be removing grass, digging a hole, putting this in, and then replanting the grass, so.
Because you have to say no touch zone. There would be an argument to be made that because it's grassed over, it is a disturbed area already.
Well, typically, we've always referred to, and I think the way, if you read the language, it talks about impervious area. So in other words, if it was impervious within the 30 foot, then yes, it would be considered disturbed. But if it's just lawn area, then that technically would not be considered disturbed, no activity zone.
All right.
I
Is
got a
there,
question. Sandy,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I got a question. Now, there's a tree on the property, correct?
A tree?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up in
um,
the
Yeah.
corner, yeah.
I was gonna say, is that gonna be impacted on this new property line, considering it's like right on the edge of this diangle or triangle?
This tree would be removed, yes, because it'd be right up, it's next to the house.
it's not a very healthy tree, even though that doesn't make any difference, but
Okay. I was just curious. All right, thank you.
Brad, one other question regarding the driveway. What do we know about that? It says existing gravel. What's going on with the proposed?
It could be paved, or proposed typically. It's something I can look at, and discuss with the applicant to determine, what impacts there may be, if any. Currently it's gravel, up to about the, existing sewer line here. And then this would be kind of an expansion of the driveway.
If it were to be paved in the new house and everything else, you wouldn't be exceeding the impervious coverage, lot coverage on this?
If it was paved, yes, it would exceed the lot coverage in impervious. But again, that area is outside the 30 feet.
I know.
No,
that's-
I know. I was
That's why we're
just,
going to, that's why we're going to zoning.
yeah, I was just curious because, you know, when it was discussed previously why it's going to zoning, that issue wasn't really brought up. It was the other issue that was brought up, as far as what Brad mentioned. So I just wanted to throw that out. And as far as the wetlands issues go, obviously we would have to be concerned with the additional runoff from another impervious surface. So that should be, I think, addressed and figured
Where's-
out as to how that's going to be dealt with.
Where's the 100-foot line?
That's out to the road, beyond the
Out
road.
across the street.
Okay, now keep in mind that this road right now is almost impassable because of the water running down it, absolutely eating the road up. The
All right.
erosion on that road right now tends to make it almost impassable for any vehicle other than a big pickup truck. And if this becomes,
It doesn't look like that road gets a lot of maintenance from what I can see.
it's a private road, it can't. The town can't do anything there.
No, I
It's a
know the
private
town
road.
can't, but I'm saying the private citizens can, but they don't.
There's someone trying to,
Okay,
but as he puts in material to try to stop the erosion, it's all running down into Jack Nolan's yard.
yep.
And Jack did speak to me about him having issues because he's at the base of the hill at the intersection of Oak Hill and Narrows. So that's definitely something we can look at, and I can discuss with the applicant in regards to a surface type of driveway, crushed stone or shells or something, gravel, something that still allows some water to pass through it.
Because you had a berm going the whole length of the property, right? All the way up?
We do. That was mainly to make sure that, as you can tell, current topography kind of heads in the direction of Jack's or Mr. Nolan's dwelling or property.
Mhm.
So that was the purpose of adding a small little mound. He had recommended digging a small swale. I thought it'd be less impactful than
As opposed to
provide a mound and fill and then landscape over it or put more grass, more seed to as opposed to digging into any type of root systems that may pre-existing on any trees. There's very few trees over there, but be easier to.
Or a nice rain garden. The one at the top closest to the road is a big sign. Anyway, is there anybody on the line that would like to speak for or against this project? I'm not hearing anything. I expected to see the Nolans.
Well, they may or may not have gotten the ability to get into this meeting. We don't really know that, unfortunately.
They had planned to attend this meeting.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that Mr. Davis suggested that there be some redesign to reduce the impact on the 30-foot no work zone. Is that what I heard, Dave, on your summary?
Yes. Yeah, I think we should continue the meeting for those things to be considered and for the question of the driveway. And to give the abutters the opportunity to speak up, because we don't know what their status is or whether or not they lost track of this meeting or how to get into it or whatever the case may be.
I'm definitely agreeable to a continuance due to this project also requiring ZBA approval at this point in time. I don't know the date of the continuance for the ZBA, but I could talk to the client about some aspects of this to answer questions from Dave and from the board. But I'm pretty confident if the dwelling doesn't change footprint, would still probably propose the location or the width as proposed. But I can again talk to the client to determine what issues may have popped up at the Zoning Board of Appeals.
So no, there's really no chance of keeping the house as narrow as it is and moving it closer to the road because you're up against the zoning setback.
Correct. Yes, it's pretty much we're as close to the street as possible, and we are no closer to the resource area than the existing structure.
Yeah. It's just wider than the existing structure.
Yes.
Zoning meets normally on the second Wednesday, so they wouldn't meet until December 9th.
They meeting next 1 week? Because they would have typically met.
No, that's Thanksgiving. Town hall is closed, isn't it? It's closed the day before?
Town hall is closed on next Wednesday and Thursday.
And Friday.
And, well, yeah, it's always on Friday, but next Wednesday and Thursday, the town hall will not be open.
Which is why zoning meant tonight, because they wouldn't have any meeting in November if they didn't.
Okay, so would
Well-
would you guys be meeting December 23rd?
Yes. We would be meeting the first and third Wednesday in
sorry,
December.
16th? You meet
Yeah,
the
the
16th?
second and the 16th. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anticipating a zoning board of appeals meeting on the 9th, then I think a continuance to the 16th would be a good choice.
Okay.
Okay, I need a motion?
I move we close the hearing.
No, continue until the
Continue
16th.
to the 16th.
All right, I move we continue the hearing till the 16th of December.
Second.
Oh, thank you. Carol,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Lissa,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Sandy. Yes. We are continued until the 16th of December.
Thank you. Thanks again for tabling the project, hoping that abutters would join in, but doesn't appear anybody did.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, looking at this agenda, is there anything else we haven't done?
No, one thing I just did want to mention is if folks want to come in to sign documents tomorrow, I've got a meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning, so I won't be in till probably 11. But if you want to go in earlier, I do have the documents, the signature page is already there. And somebody should be in the office if you want to come in, around between 9:30 and 11, or if you want to wait till 11, I'll be in by that time.
Okay.
Okay. And signatures, we only required to take so we only need 4 signatures. Right?
Well, you do, but if you have somebody who votes opposite other two, it's kind of nice to see all the signatures. So if you have 2 people
okay.
approving and 3 not.
So for any document that we issue, it has to have a minimum of 4 signatures on it, because that's a quorum of the commission. So regardless of how votes go, if a document is to be issued, it has to have a minimum of 4 signatures. And of course, it can have as many as 6 with all the voting members on it. So that's really up to the commission and who wants to come in, but we have to have at least 4.
I'm making that statement because I really want that order of conditions for Maple Park to be signed. Okay. Anything else?
Nothing else.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
Got a second. All in favor? Carol,
Aye.
Yes.
Ron,
Absolutely.
Alyssa,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Sandy. Thank you all.
And
All
happy
right.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah,
Yep.
good
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Happy holiday.
Thanks.
Happy holiday, everyone.
Everybody.